We're here today on Country Pocket with Kate Vargas. She has a very unique sound and voice. The song you just heard was Once I Was the Contender. And I've just got to ask, how purposeful was it that you started off the album saying the word vintage in the first sentence?
Uh, eh, it wasn't super intentional. But sometimes these things, it's like a subconscious thing. Why do you ask that?
Because I think you have a bit of a vintage sound going.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, what I like about this album is not just the songs, the lyrics, and all that, but the performances. I feel like you can sell these characters. Like the contender, I actually get the sense she could have been something big because you have this melodrama and gravitas and the delivery. Did you mean for her to have actually had a shot at the good life?
I think I don't know if this is how everybody feels, but I think, you know, we have these grandiose ideas of ourselves when we're kids. At least I did. I really did. And and so I don't know that it's definitely this character, uh like we all could have, right?
I guess. I mean, you have talent, but I don't. I feel like the path you've chosen isn't the silver screen dreams. I feel like it's
Yes,
the
that's true.
unique. I feel like it's the unique art.
Yes, that's true. That's true. This character is definitely leans more toward yeah, that kind of silver screen movie star aesthetic. That was what they were looking toward at one point in their life.
Yeah. What interests me is the way she's sort of like looking back on a past when she had so much potential, but as you reveal in the song, things were kind of dark for her then too.
What yeah, what part, what do you feel like reveals that?
When the father's punching through the wall and
Sure.
just it gives me a pretty good feeling that even as she's sort of looking back at these uh looking back to a point in her life when things could have been better, they weren't. It's just a really
Mhm.
interesting character.
Yeah, it's a lot about, dream. I mean, this whole album, so you're a very good listener, Trevor. Um, the album's called Golden Hour in the House of Lugosi, and so all the songs touch upon um identity and our the uh views of ourselves and the things that we place upon ourselves, how we'd like to be perceived by others, um and all that kind of stuff, how we get stuck in a certain kind of identity or with a certain label, or lean into that thing or resist that. And so this song very much falls into that exploration of identity, right?
Yeah, yeah, she's I'm rooting for her, but I don't have a ton of hope.
Well, I think part of what I want for her is to realize that it doesn't, her value is the same regardless. Her value is great whether she's on the big screen or whether she's in small town New Mexico and never left, you know. That's what I hope for this character, that she realizes that.
Uh, so when you take the vintage genre, you can sort of make it lend itself to these different moods. And in Contender, you have this grand, it just feels like a big atmosphere type of song that fits
Mhm.
along with Big Dreams. You also, in a song, uh, something about Lock for My Key. What was the name of that one?
Nothing turns my lock.
Nothing Turns My Lock. Uh, I feel like you take you take the vintage playfulness and apply it there. Um, Tell me about your free love anthem.
Well, this is a song that I wrote with a couple friends of mine, Jared Kaczynski and Andrea Wittgens, who's one of my favorite songwriters and also my neighbor in New York. Um, yeah, we all kind of grew up. This is a I did another recording that very much leans into the jazz thing, a jazz standard type thing. And so for this album, I re-recorded it more in the junkyard folk style, but I think it maintains its integrity and its purpose. We all grew up playing jazz music, and so we were talking about these standards that we grew up learning and stuff, and then kind of talking about lyrical themes in those standards and how when was the last time there was a new song added to this, you know, big bunch of standards that was like updated for current times? Um, that all the lyrical themes tend to be romantic in these songs and tend to be very um heterosexual and monogamous. And so we felt like it needed an update.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's playful. It's not at all what you'd expect from a vintage song, which I think it's good. Like, were you trying to sort of push the limits of that wordplay on this one? Like,
Yes, we
how much?
actually had to rein it in. We had to rein
Oh,
it in because we really got, I mean, I will say, uh,
because
there
that
are,
was one of the spicier songs I've heard.
oh, for sure, for
And
sure.
you're telling me you had to rein it in.
We had to rein in like the wordplay, like getting real goofy with the wordplay. Let's see, uh there's a little thing about if I'm drawn to their geometry and their angles are right, well, it's proof enough for me. And we kind of when we had a bunch. I wish I could, maybe I could find them. We had a bunch just like that, you know, and then we just other than geometry, you know, we did it all. Astronomy and and geology and biology, obviously that was the easy one. But we were like, okay, we got to pull it back. We got to really focus, hone in here. But you know what? Some of those, there's some old uh jazz tunes, some I'm spacing on her name right now. Singers who go really far with it, really far. They just didn't necessarily make like the albums, you know, but you can go online and find some old recordings of these singers just being completely really raunchy definitely like will make you blush. Make me blush at least.
Oh, it's such a shame. I'd love to have one on an album so I can put it on the air.
Oh, maybe I could find one for you.
You know what? That's definitely going to be your challenge.
Okay, there was one song in particular that I played for Jared and Andrea um as a sort of like bouncing off point. And I'm spacing on the singer's name. I will get it to you, Trevor. I will.
Okay. Um, well, um we're definitely going to hear that one along with Nothing Turns My Lock, but I just want to talk about the line, you may not be everything, but you're something to me. Uh, how would you feel hearing that?
Well, I mean, I think, we have this idea about that our partner should be everything, right? And should check every single box. And I think it's unrealistic and I think it's unfair. Uh it's an unrealistic expectation and it's unfair to put that on somebody. And so that's kind of where that line comes from. I probably I probably wouldn't love hearing that directly. But I know it. I know it in my brain. I know I can't be everything to somebody.
I think I'm I think I'm pretty much with you in terms of the sentiment there. I just maybe think romantically I wouldn't want to hear that.
No.
I'm very much of the belief that people are these complex array of interests, and you need to find your partner in crime for each of them, and they're probably not all going to be the same person, and it's sort of a mess when you try to pressure one person into joining you along on everything. But romantically, I don't think I could handle hearing that.
Yeah, we don't have to say everything out loud. You just put them into song.
Beautiful. All right. All right, let's hear a couple songs and we'll be right back.